Every time somebody go to talking about the Super Bowl, I say, hey, did you see that little sign that said Eve after dark? And then I give them a little lightweight, little history lesson.
There you are. Good morning. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. Sorry about that. We're going to try to roll that again. That's the trailer to Eve After Dark, the documentary. Lonzo Williams, that venerable night spot for teens back in the day. You know, we want to examine some of these items of culture and history in our region, culture and history in our communities, culture and history from a decidedly African American perspective. And when we begin to have these conversations about hip hop culture from a West Coast perspective, we just want to be able to uplift some of the, principal situations, social situations that were happening around our communities during these days and times of the birth of hip hop. They're saying 50 years. I heard the radio station the other day saying 40 years, and so we want to continue to examine what that really means 50 years of hip hop, especially from the region where we originate, Long Beach, California, West Coast, LA, Compton, Inglewood, and the diaspora. That's what we're doing. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Thank you so much. You can get us on our Facebook pages, Coffee Conversations with Greg J, Kalimba Song Coffee Company, Hannibal Media Group. Just type it in, Coffee Conversations with Greg J. We repurpose the audio for podcasting, wherever you get your favorite podcast. It's also over there on YouTube. So if you want to like and subscribe and help us increase our YouTube presence, that would be good. We're just trying to, report some arts and culture from around the world. Shout out to the Long Beach Symphony. We went there the other night, right? And they had a tribute to Broadway. And I was really, really happy to see that they opened the show with songs from my favorite musical, Broadway, is The Wiz. And they had songs from The Wiz. The young woman, Lakeisha Jones, she was a finalist on the American Idol. I guess she came in third place or something like that. Child could sang. You hear me? She was really, really doing the doggone thing out there. The other gentleman, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the other two singers' names, but they were all awesome. The guy was former in the Les Miserables. He was in Phantom of the Opera. I will say that one song he sang from Phantom of the Opera, he did it. Oh my God, it's such a hauntingly beautiful job. The only thing that was missing for him was the little, the mask. The guy got to have the mask on, there's a whole visual. But it was really, really an incredible time at the what is that? That's called the Pacific Ballroom. Used to be the Long Beach Arena. You know where it is. Whales are painted on the outside and all that. I want to shout out the production crew at the Long Beach Symphony and at the Pacific Ballroom. The mix was impeccable. Those strings were really sounding great. I mean, the orchestra sounded really, really great. Shout out to Kelly Ruggiero. That's my friend there. She's the president of the Long Beach Symphony. Christina Hall, got to sit at her table with her and her husband and her friends, her homies. That Susan Jacobs was there, Rhonda Love was there, Ann Lateem, the vice president of the Arts Council for Long Beach, was there. James Nash was there. He's a member at large on the Arts Council for Long Beach. I can't remember the other couple's names there, but they were there at our table and we had a really fun time together, having dinner before the symphony and then experiencing a magnificent musical presentation. Helene Ansel was in there, there's a lot of people around that whole. Naomi Rainey, president of the Long Beach NAACP, I saw her. few other folks, in the symphony. So, it's good to have a variety, right? A variety of music. And if you're a music head like me, you're trying to hear all of the musical compositions that you can. You study them. It's just part of our life, right? Is to be in this music thing. And I was really, really swept away by the Broadway performances expressed by the Long Beach Symphony, conducted by Dr. James Bass, the Grammy Award winning Dr. James Bass. Really nice guy. We met him before. And I think we did have him on Coffee Conversations about a year ago, or maybe two. Been doing this conversation for a long time. I feel like I had him on at one point in time. So that's what's going on there. So many exciting things happening around us. We are so happy. Kalimba Song Coffee Company is coming to AfroCity, located in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. We're going to, take up a space inside of the AfroCity marketplace, and you'll see our fresh harvest of coffee imported farmer direct from the mountains of Cameroon, West Africa. We'll have our high quality art imported from Southern Africa. And we'll just be there to share culture, experiences, and life, man, with you. And so come on, check us out, give us a support. You can get them medium roast, dark roast, ground, or beans. There it is. Kalimba Song Coffee Company bringing you Cameroon Boyo Arabica coffee. AfroCity Marketplace in Baldwin Hills, Crenshaw Plaza. That's what's going down, starting up this weekend. So, come on and shout out a brother right there. All right, let me see if I can get this trailer up on April 13th. We're so happy to present a documentary that is, when we begin to talk about, I suppose I'll call it right now, I'm going to call it urban pop culture. Is driven right by regions. Every region of the United States in Black culture really has a style about it, a Weltanschauung, a view of the world, right? When we begin to talk about hip hop culture, and you're hearing a lot about it now, it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And I will continue to remind you that hip hop is a culture. It involves the dance. It involves the fashion. It involves graffiti writing, or, now we call it public art and murals. And it involves the music, which is rap music. When it evolves among the youth in the nation, it comes from the streets of New York City, and how that music is birthed from that region and then spreads all across the country. However, as it begins to spread, each region puts its own spin on, this expression of lyricism. When we begin to talk about the West Coast, we begin to hear lyrics talking about what is happening in our cities out here on the West Coast. There's gang culture. There's, cannabis culture. There's car culture, right? And these are standard elements of California. And this is where we begin to see sounds, from emanating from Compton with NWA. Even before that, you have Rodney O, Joe Cooley, you have Egyptian Lover, you have so many, West Coast superstars coming out of these regions, Compton, Long Beach. It's so funny that all these years I knew the correlation between Compton and Long Beach in the lyrics, in the music, in the style as we study, pop culture from a Black perspective. But it wasn't until I lived out here that I actually really dawned on me. It's like, wow, that's why Compton and Long Beach, because they're adjacent. Watts and everything like that. And so the movement and the settlement of Black people in this region of the United States is in that little, it's a belt, if you will, going on up into South Central, South LA, Crenshaw, and all that, Carson. So, yeah. But we begin to talk about the music, right? And back in those days, we, remember we had skating rinks, flippers, World on Wheels, skate land out there in Compton. And it's these types of locations that new music is discovered, right? The sound of the youth now is becoming bubbling under. It's the rap, it's the hip hop. And in our day, in the early day, it's in New York, it's breakdancing. Here, it's pop locking, right? And also too, there's a lot happening out on the streets of our big city, Southern California, Los Angeles, Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood. There's a need for a safe haven, a safe place for the teens to gather, to dance, to show off fashions, to do what teenagers do. And so we say Eve After Dark is one of those places. They can come, people from all over our communities can come and find the latest, hear the latest music, see the latest dances, show off the latest fashions. You know how we do it. Eve After Dark is certainly one of those standard locations, when we begin to talk about clubs and gathering places in, Black pop culture from a Southern California perspective. And it is inside of these places that we begin to see the essence of hip hop culture, bubbling under. Eve After Dark is an important aspect of that history from a Black perspective. And you can, that is underscored by when they had the Super Bowl halftime show last year, not this past one with Rihanna, but last year, the one that was held at SoFi Stadium, produced by Dr. Dre, featured Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent. Inside of that magnificent display of hip hop music, there is an homage to Eve After Dark. It's crazy, right? It's like, wow, that's Eve After Dark, So it demands a documentary. And so our friend Lonzo Williams got together and assembled a great history of his club, Eve After Dark. He is regarded as the godfather of West Coast hip hop. We've had him on Coffee Conversations with Greg J many, many times. And, we're able to chop it up about the history of hip hop culture as it has manifested itself here in the Western United States. We're so proud that we're going to be able to present a screening of his documentary, Compton Love, The Story of Eve After Dark. It's going to be April 13th. That's a Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the 4th Street Art Theater in Long Beach. And so you'll just keep checking our social medias over the next few minutes. You're going to begin to see a lot of posters and everything coming out about that. We'll give you the link for where you can get your tickets to see this. So we're going to be able to show you the Eve After Dark documentary, and then we're going to have a Q&A with Lonzo Williams and his director, Brother Daniel, so that they can talk about the importance of the background to making a documentary and what it is like to be independent filmmakers in such a time as this. It's a different time now. Arts and culture are essential to our renaissance, our rebirth, our revolution. Let me see if I can get that screen up here. Just a hot second, okay? Got a few more things to talk to you about. I lost it when I was talking to you a little earlier. My bad, actually, but well, it looks like I just can't find it in context of right now. My bad. You know what I'll do is when we sign off, I will put the trailer on our pages so that you can see it. I'll even embed it into this chat here so that you can view and experience the Eve After Dark trailer. Get y'all prepped up for April 13th. Hope to see you all there, man. That's going to be good. Great conversation, great information that we're hoping to share about culture. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to keep coming with, facts about our culture, our aspects here in the world. Let me just find my glasses here. We can just keep on pushing here. You know, it's so interesting nowadays how we really need to continue to tell our stories, right? And that's what the whole essence of what we do here at Hannibal Media Group inside the Dream Creator Studios. We're really all about telling our own stories, and that's why we want to continue this thread about this whole hip hop discussion. We were there, we lived it, and we, you know, as executives, and we just want to share information. All right, let's see. I talked about the coffee, AfroCity Marketplace. I talked to you about Eve After Dark, right? What a great quarter it's been, though, right? It's the end of the quarter. Listen, first 3 months of 2023. I started out the year, I was in Ghana, you know, came back trying to produce a Martin Luther King, you know, festival for the city of Inglewood, and we got rained out. So the rain has been a big story. We persevered through the rain and everything like that. So we did Black History Month. We combined the Martin Luther King observations with Black History Month observations in the city of Inglewood. We blocked Street, and we built a stage out there and had a really great time with some really great artists, including Noel Gourdine, just so many artists that rolled through there. Maxine Waters came and gave them some millions to help them with their water project. The city, it's really cool, you know, really cool and strong. Just a strong presentation and a good day in our community. Shortly after that, we were able to host an art show in downtown Long Beach. Shout out to our artists. We really wanted to have a high-end expression of arts and culture from a Black perspective in honor of Black History Month. While it is a month we do celebrate all year long, so don't get it twisted, but we were able to present you with the renowned Buena Johnson. She showed her art there. Kedar Akpa, he's actually roots from Niger, but living in Long Beach. Great artist, contemporary artist, influenced by hip hop. The great Shelton Gillis, coming from a renowned African American family here in the city of Long Beach, and exceptional artist. His works are exquisite out there. And then, you know, we had Muhammad Mubarak, representing Leimert Park. Great musical expressions he brought us. James Brown, Marvin Gaye, Nipsey Hussle, D'Angelo, really strong portraits, right? And then, you know, last but not least, certainly, not even last, we elevated students. You know, everything that we do try to embrace the young people and the generations coming up behind us, and influence them and inspire them, you know, in this arts and culture space. And we met a young woman earlier this year, Skylar Bush, photography student at Cal State Long Beach. And we got her all registered at the Artist Registry at the Arts Council for Long Beach. And then we featured her as our special student spotlight inside of the gallery. And she, man, you know, her works are exquisite. She's keep an eye out, Skylar Bush. Last but not least, all the way from Nigeria, we just met this gentleman. He doesn't live here. He's from Nigeria. Metal artist, an artist of metal, welding pieces of metal together to make exquisite sculptures, was Brother Fidelis Ize. And he, you know, I don't have a word in my vocabulary to describe the dramatic impact his art hits you with when you walk into that gallery and you see it. Boom, you know, his art was really fantastic. Shout out to Rhonda Love, Dream Creator Studio. They did the Celebrating Black Excellence honors, right? And honored Ziggy and Toya Jackson, nephew of Michael, you know. We honored Sheba Gillis, community activist, educator. We honored Atira Rodriguez, media executive. And then we honored also from way over in Ghana, Jerry Johnson. He has the African Ancestry Wall. And he's not born in Long Beach, but he did spend a significant time in Long Beach and was part of the Long Beach study group back in the day. And that poured into his consciousness and inspired him to move to Africa, where he has a fantastic bed and breakfast. And it is a shrine, if you will, to icons of the struggle. Yeah. So very, very, very powerful stuff. Arts Council for Long Beach, you know, they're doing a California Creative Corps, artslb.org. Go to that website, artslb.org. The state of California has put forth a huge fund through the California Arts Council, $60 million towards support of arts practitioners. Of phases. Go to artslb.org so that you can find out more about it. And if you're a nonprofit or if you're an artist, find out how you can get into that grant process. The Arts Council for Long Beach is one of 4 arts organizations in the state appointed by the California Arts Council to administer a portion of that grant, that program. So it allows us to not only support Long Beach artists, but it also allows us to extend our expertise to arts and culture entities outside of Long Beach here in Southern California. So get up on it, artslb.org, see how you can get in where you fit in. There's some resources out there for you. I think I've got everything there. Let me just check my list. I told you about that. Listen, we're going to Ghana, July 22nd. If you want to really have a cultural experience, I would really love for you to join us as we go for the Pan-African Arts and Culture Festival, PanaFest, that's going on in July. You'll be gone from July 22nd through August 3rd. And we'll be over in Ghana, taking you to Accra, Ghana, the capital city. We'll take you up to Kumasi, the seat of the Ashanti Kingdom, and that's where a large concentration of gold is located. We'll also take you to Cape Coast, where I believe our vice president is right now, going through the slave dungeons, and we're going to take you through that, have a candlelight vigil and everything like that. We'll put the link on Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com. We'll put that in the chat shortly so that you can, check it out. Don't have a lot of time left. You got about a month to make this trip happen, because we want to really begin the preparations, both on the Ghanaian side and, fulfill our seats for our flights. You're flying from LAX to Washington, D.C. Then you're going from Washington, D.C. direct to Accra, Ghana. If you are catching this broadcast and you are from a place outside of the greater Los Angeles area, that's okay too. Just contact our travel people so that they can adjust your fare accordingly. I know there's a lot of East Coast people who have been beginning to share interest in this trip, and man, I hope you go with us. It'll change your life, especially us American descendants of slaves. And when you go to Ghana, West Africa, there is a spiritual connection, an arts and culture renaissance. If you appreciate the arts, this is a trip for you. If you love good food, this is a trip for you. If you're looking for what it is like in West Africa. Oh man, how many people tell me, I've always wanted to go to Africa. Well, this is your chance, right? Let me show you a quick snippet. I'm going to play a portion of a documentary that we produced, just so you can kind of get an idea of, we were on our way to the Slave River. And let me just say, this is a part of your journey that you're going to experience when you go with us in July 22nd through August 3rd. Check this out. Alright everybody, Greg J. Live from Cape Coast. There's Rhonda.
Hi.
So, we're on the bus now. We're headed to what we consider to be the pinnacle of this experience. Yes, we're here for business and all of that. And we're on our way to the slave market in Cape Coast, Ghana, and we're going to end up at the slave dungeons. And so this is, Rhonda called it a pilgrimage, and this is very, very essential to our being. Very serious and somber in my heart right now as we have just rolled out from the hotel to head on down to the slave market. My mind is completely open to whoever that person was that came through a slave castle that dots the entire west coast of the continent of Africa and made it across the Middle Passage and spawned the generations that led to me. Somebody, a blood relative, survived what we were about to see. Survived, and generation after generation made me.
Else. We know that we are because they were, you know, and so I go in the spirit and the essence of that, and I'm just looking forward to making that connection. I have a cloth that I'm taking with me that will only be worn for this journey and this day, you know, and when I get back home I'm going to put this away just in memory of this experience and honor of that ancestor who I will never know exactly who they are, but I know that they exist because I am. So in the memory of that, I do this. And for me, my choice is either to wear red for the blood or purple, which represents royalty. And I prayed about it. Last night was just a really quiet, somber night for me. And then this morning, I heard clearly in my spirit that your ancestors have already borne bloodshed. You return in the spirit of victory and royalty and the purple linen. And so that's what's going on. I'm excited about it.
Slave market. It's been on the freeway on the road, at least I should say, for more than an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half outside of Cape Coast. We're entering into the slave market here. I guess they'll explain exactly where we are, but we're in a very small town. There's goats and stuff running around, and we're here to experience how our ancestors, what road they trod. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod. This is where it begins, ladies and gentlemen. We're in Cape Coast, Ghana, the Cape Coast region. We've just arrived at the slave market. You can hear the drums in the background welcoming us. You can see the murals on the walls of this compound. And you can see that they depict the journey of the enslaved, our ancestors, as they came from this rich and beautiful land to the land that we call America. This is what it is, y'all. Let's take a look. All right, there you have it. Yes, a portion of our documentary on our trip to the Slave River and also the Slave Dungeons. And so that'll be a part of your trip should you choose to join us. I think I got this one last trailer before we go up and running. Let me do this for y'all. This is... this is Alonzo Williams' documentary. This is the trailer, Eve After Dark. We're going to be presenting that on April 13th over at the 4th Street Art Theater in, I guess that's kind of central Long Beach, but in the 4th Street Retro Row area. You know where it is. If you're going to come down there, we'll get you all of the information across our social media platforms on how you can be a part to see Eve After Dark.
Have somebody go to talking about the Super Bowl. I say, hey, did you see that little sign that said Eve After Dark? And then I give them a little lightweight, little history lesson.
That was the hottest club right there on Avalon.
People don't realize how important Eve After Dark was to country. How many careers got started there, whether it was Dr. Dre, D.L. Hughley, Robin Harris.
Eve After Dark is like a hood version of what Club 54 was in New York.
The place where young kids could go, have fun, and be safe. Dance contests, singing contests.
The finest girls in the city from Gardena, from Compton, from L.A., they would come to the Eve After Dark. And they wanted to see us dance.
We got comedy. Brad Sanders, Marsha Warfield, Honest John
Witherspoon,
Chris Tucker, all them cats, they all come to the club.
I was taken under the wing of the world-class wrecking crew. Grandmaster Lines of the world-class wrecking crew don't get enough credit for what he did to spark this too. He the first one that gave Dre a DJ job.
I don't know how Dre ended up on my turntables. And he had people dancing to this weird mix. One record was at 100 and some odd BPMs. The other one was like 64. So people don't know whether to dance fast or slow dance, but the mix sound good.
It was a lifesaver because, you know, in those days, there was a lot of stuff going around in the city. We had it really hard. So the Eve After Dark was that safe haven that we could go and just have fun and not remember or know anything that might have been at home.